Hey everyone, we're back with another episode of The Zurvivalist. This is Matt Jarbo, and I'm here with Drew from Seattle, Washington. Drew, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you both?
Doing great. Thanks for being on the show.
Hey, my pleasure.
All right, so let's get down to it. This is a question I always start off with. How would you survive a zombie outbreak?
I'm going to give you one word, and it is the one word that's going to make or break your survival. That word is crowbar.
Crowbar, okay.
Crowbar absolutely is the most versatile weapon, the most versatile tool. If you have a crowbar, you can pretty much survive anything, including a zombie outbreak. You're going to want one of the 18-inch ones, I'm going to say, at the very least.
Well, yeah, you'd want to be able to keep those things at a bit further of a distance while still getting those brain shots.
Absolutely. And then when you're not surrounded by zombies, you got a Walmart that you want to break into, grab a couple rifles, some ammunition. Boom, there's your crowbar. You got a house that you want to break into. You think there might be some food or a female in there. Boom, there's your crowbar. It is the most versatile thing in the world, and its use isn't just limited to zombies. You can headshot someone that's going for your girl. You can headshot someone that's going after your food. You got to think that when you're trying to survive a zombie outbreak, it's about survival of the species.
Exactly.
Sure,
exactly.
It's about survival of yourself, but when you come straight down to it, here in Seattle, what you want is yourself and the Rat City Roller Girls on top of the Space Needle.
That would be an interesting sight. Very interesting sight.
It would be the most fantastic thing in the world, because you know those girls can handle themselves, and you know that you've got enough food and weaponry to last you quite a while. If you can find a zombie that's going to be able to climb to the top of the Space Needle, I'm going to find you one advanced zombie.
Well, the only issue I would see with that is that on the Space Needle, I mean, it's only 500 feet tall, and there is the elevator, so you would be able to, in case there's let's go back to a Dawn of the Dead reference, when they're at the end of the movie and they're in the mall and the zombies get on the elevator, so it is a possibility. So, how would you, if you're in the Space Needle, how would you survive it? Like, would you barricade off the elevator, or would you just try to, monitor what happens?
Yeah, barricading off the elevator would be an excellent strategy. I also think that I'd try to disable them, although if my suspicions are correct, those elevators wouldn't be running for very long after the power was cut. So you've just got the emergency power to deal with, and if you can cut that, then you should be fine. But I have thought of those ideas, and there's actually a bar right near my place called Chapel, which I feel is fitting, that I would also probably hole up in. Because not only do you have easily defensible positions, no elevators, just stairs, and those are easily defendable.
True.
You also have alcohol, tons and tons of alcohol. And if you want to survive mentally, you're going to need something to break down with at the end of a rough day of zombie killing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're going to need a drink. It's I think it's an essential part of the survival process.
Absolutely.
So, so you would be, so you think the bar would probably be more your better bet than going to the Space Needle or, Safeco Field or something like that.
I think so. It's going to be somewhere where not a lot of people are going to think to go. The balcony is easily defensible with only one major choke point, and then there's a ladder ascending to the roof if you need to fall back to a final escape route.
Okay. Well, let's say that, that the bar is overrun and you go up and you get to the escape route. What do you think, where would you go? Have you thought past that?
Well, a little bit. I tend to stick with a couple contingency plans, because I figure if plan A doesn't work, I'll go to plan B. If plan B doesn't work, well, then I obviously wasn't meant to live. But if I had to have a plan C, I would just get in the car and floor it and see what happens. I've got a nice little Pontiac Sunfire. It's got a nice slender front profile. If I can make a few zombies fly out in front of me while I'm trying to search for an option C, I figure more's the better.
Well, would you? I mean, I could see you driving away, but I mean, really, given where Seattle's at, would you take the 5 north towards Canada or the 5 south towards Portland?
I'm gonna have to go with the 5 south towards Portland.
Interesting.
And my rationale with that is between Seattle and Portland, sure, you have a couple major cities, but you've also got a lot of flatland to work with. And as you're going down into Oregon, that flatland turns a lot more mountainous, and it's sort of isolated. And if you see, I'll go ahead and take your take your standpoint and refer back to a bunch of zombie films, most of them take refuge in the country because there aren't very many humans around to begin with, so the zombies don't end up flocking there.
Well, I mean, Portland, the city of Portland itself, not including the outlying towns, has over 150,000 people population. And granted, it does cross with the Willamette and the Columbia River. So it seems kind of, like if you're going into that bowl, it might be more dangerous than safe, even though there are the Cascade Mountains around that and Mount Hood. But it doesn't seem like it might be the most solid plan for a place to hold up.
Solid plan for a place to hold up? Probably not. However, I'd have some time to prepare, would hopefully have hit a few ammo dumps on the way, and to borrow from a common military phrase, we're not outnumbered, we're just in the target-rich environment.
I've actually never heard that. That's really good. I like that. So, all right. So you'd be in Portland in that area. Would you, that would be Plan B, obviously. What about, what would you do to, with survivors? Would you help other survivors, or would you just be fend for yourself, or do you have a family, anything like that?
Absolutely a fend for yourself situation, without a doubt. Without a doubt, fend for yourself, because if they didn't put themselves in a situation where they can survive, I mean, we're going straight back to Darwin's theory of evolution here, survival of the fittest. Also, to reference 28 Days Later, the thing that scared me most about that film were not the infected, which I don't think count as zombies anyway.
No, I don't. I agree with you there.
Definitely not zombies, but a similar situation, I would say. And when the main characters get to the camp, the part that scared me the most about that film was the fact that what you see in that film is exactly what human beings would do in that situation. I honestly and seriously think that. And so if I can manage to live on my own, by myself, fending for myself, maybe with one or two trusted people beside me, that would be far preferable to getting into a situation like 28 Days Later, or One of the Dead, where you have the security guards warring against the people that were in the mall at the time.
Yeah.
Especially where all the laws break down, human beings would revert into animals. And I'd rather be an animal with 2 or 3 people than have to fight for top position, the alpha male, against a group of 10 or 20.
I understand that, and it's a solid plan. But let's take it a step farther. Let's say it's years down the road, right? Because humanity will start to rebuild.
Absolutely.
Would you migrate into a larger colony, like a new city, or would you stay on the outskirts for a while and make sure that the people that they're bringing in, that they don't that there's not an infection that springs up again, like let's say 28 weeks later?
Sure. I believe I would probably migrate sooner rather than later. The rationale being, if we're starting to build a new civilization, I want to be there to help shape that civilization. And if a new outbreak occurs, well, hopefully I've got enough ammunition left to start the war all over again, which I'm definitely not averse to doing.
That's understandable. It looks like we're actually running out of time, so I'm gonna finish this with the question I ask everyone last. What would you do if you were bit?
Take down as many before I go. Humans or zombies, you pick.
Well, I guess it really depends on where you are.
Let's see. If I were bit and nobody killed me, I guess I'm fighting for the other team. Sucks to say, but that's survival of the fittest. That
would be, at that point, you, if you follow that theory, that thought process, it would make sense, which is a really solid answer. But that's all the time we have for this week on the show. Drew, thank you very much for being here. It was a pleasure, and I hope to have you back sometime.
Absolutely. It'd be my pleasure. Thank you very much, man.
Thanks. For all of you listening at home, you can tune in to more episodes at facebook.com/kzomradio. And please visit our sponsor, Monsters vs. Monsters, a new card game that's a low-cost alternative to high-cost entertainment, monstersvsmonsters.com. Thanks, guys. See you next week.